All right, welcome back. Here's the back part of the assessment. So when we took the test, I wrote some directions at the top of your test. That's what you guys see above the directions. I went ahead and just typed them on here. So when you are looking at the domain, remember you have to worry if x is in the denominator because your denominator can't be 0. You have to worry if x is an even root because you can't take the square root, fourth root, sixth root of a negative number. So you're going to keep it bigger than 0 or equal to 0. And then both means if you have x in the denominator and it's an even root. So you might see something like this. Whoops. Okay, and just a reminder, hidden things you have to worry about, x in the denominator, if you have a negative exponent, that's like a negative, or an x in the denominator. And if you have an exponent that's a fraction, if that denominator is an even number, that's like having an even root. All right, so let's start with number 10. Number 10 says that I'm supposed to take g and put it into f. So that means all of this is going into here. The 2 stays, the 3 stays, but the x is replaced with 4 times the fourth root of x. So here's the 2 staying. In for x goes 4 with the fourth root of x, and then plus 3. So I'm just going to put a little multiplication sign there as well. So now I'm just going to clean it up. I could multiply this 2 and 4 and just make it 8 with the fourth root of x plus 3. And that's my new function. Now, do I have an issue with the domain? Yes, I have an even root with x in it. So I take the whole everything that's in that root, which is just x, and I set it greater than or equal to 0. And that is my domain. If I were to make a t-chart, the smallest number I could pick in there would be 0 and bigger, because if I start putting negative numbers in there, I'll get an error message. All right, number 11, what I'm supposed to do is take f and put it into g. So let's start. I'm going to do a little racing. So this time, f goes into here. What will still be here, though, is the 4 and the fourth root. So here's the 4. In for the fourth root. In for x will go this 2x plus 3. Is there any cleaning up I can do? No, because I can't combine what's outside the root with inside the root. They're separate. So this is as good as it gets. This is my new function. Okay? Do I have an issue with the domain? Yes, I do again, because I have an even root. So I'm going to take everything in that even root, set it greater than or equal to 0, and I'm just going to solve for x by subtracting 3 and dividing by 2. And then this is my domain. If I were to make a t-chart, all my numbers that I want to pick for x have to be greater than or equal to, and I'll put it as a decimal, -1.5. Otherwise, I'm going to get an error message if I go smaller than that. In the last one, this time, and yours is a little space, so if you notice, I fixed it for the video. This time, I'm going to take h and put it in for f. So the 2 and the 3, again, will still be there. So here's the 2, but in for x, is going to be 3/4 x plus 1. And I still have the plus 3 there. So how can I clean this up? Well, I'm going to distribute the 2 in. 2 times 3/4, well, that's 3/4 and 3/4. That's 1.5. And then the 2 is going to distribute to the 1, which is 2. And then I still have the 3 was there. So when I'm done, it becomes 1.5x plus 5. And then this becomes my new equation. Do I have any issues with the domain? Nope. I can put whatever I want, all real numbers. No denominators, no even roots. All right, let's go to 13 and 14. So 13, the first time g is going into f, so the 4 will still be there. Instead of x, though, it'll be 2x minus 8. The -1 is still there. How can I clean this up? Well, there's parentheses. There's 4 in front of the parentheses, and there's a -1 with the parentheses. The exponent of -1 gets the parentheses first, and the negative exponent doesn't want to be there. It says to move the 2x minus 8 into the denominator. So that's what I'm going to do. The 4 stays there, but the 2x minus 8 moves into the denominator. And then this is what becomes my final new equation. So do I have an issue with the domain? I do, because I have x in the denominator. So I'm going to take the whole denominator and use this scenario that it can't be 0. So to solve for x, I'm going to add 8, and then I'm going to divide by 2. So in the end, if I were to make a t-chart, I would just skip over 4 because 4 would give me an error message. It'd give me 0 on the denominator, and I can't divide by 0. All right, final problem. I am going to take, this time, f and put it into g. So still from g will be the 2, but instead of x will be the 4x to the negative 1, and then minus 8. How can I clean this up? Well, this time for the parentheses, it's there for the 2. So I'm just going to multiply the 2 and the 4. And from here, I still have a negative exponent. So the negative exponent says move whatever it's attached to the denominator. The only thing that the negative exponent is attached to is the x. So only the x moves. The 8 stays there, and the minus 8 stays there. So this is my new answer. Do I have any issues with the domain? I do. I have x in the denominator. And as soon as I set it to that, I'm done because I just can't put 0 in. I'm good to go. And that's it. That's the basics of the assessment. So look over. If you still have questions, let me know, and we can go over it. Retakes are Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.